In the spirit of the holiday season, I'm going to share 4 suggestions of things to listen to and watch if you want to learn about tech and also be entertained and relaxed. Welcome to the Tech for Non-Techies podcast. I'm your host, tech entrepreneur, executive coach and Chicago Booth MBA, Sophia Matveeva. My aim here is to help you have a great career in the digital age. In a time when even your coffee shop has an app, you simply have to speak tech. On this podcast, I share core technology concepts, help you relate them to business outcomes, and most importantly, share practical advice on what you can do to become a digital leader today. If you want to have a great career in the digital age, this podcast is for you. Hello, smart people. How are you today? For those of you who just celebrated Christmas, I hope it was delicious and fabulous. I was in London, so I watched the King's speech, not the movie, but actual King Charles's Christmas Day speech, so very traditional. And I thought he did quite a good job. I'm not really a fan of the monarchy, but I do like that King Charles is an environmentalist, and I think the world needs a person with influence pushing the green agenda forward, especially since politicians tend to have such short-term agendas. And today, because right now is the festive season, I want you to rest. January is going to be a really big month, and 2024 is going to be a massive year. So even if you can't take lots of time off right now, because I know, some of you have to keep working, you can take things a bit more easy than usual so you can have more energy for a really fresh start in January. And you know what is happening in January? The fabulous Design for Growth program. This is a workshop that will take place online on the 28th of January, and it consists of 2 main parts. There are a bunch of bonuses as well, but the workshop, that's the main bit. So in this workshop, first you will learn design thinking principles, which will be covered by me and by a really good guest speaker who is a lead designer. And then in the second part of this workshop, we will use the principles that you've just learned to create a plan of action for 2024. And you can use the Design for Growth program to create a new product, to launch or grow a venture, or to transform your career. And I have used design thinking for all 3 of these topics, and I can tell you that it works. So this is what I would really love to see in this workshop. As well as the actual workshop on the 28th, you will also get a class on how to get headhunted, which is super important because most jobs are not advertised. So it's important to know what you can do to make opportunities come to you. And we'll do that in February. And all of this is online, so you can grow your network, you can learn new skills, you can have a great plan for 2024 without leaving your house. There's also a bunch of bonus resources which are all in the program description. Design for Growth will be the perfect way to learn a vital skill set and begin your year with an ambitious but realistic plan for your career, for your product, or for your business. But early bird rates run out this week. Prices literally go up on the 1st of January. So make sure to get the early bird rate today. The link is in the show notes, or just go to techfornontechies.co/events and see it there. And now, my dear smart listener, in the spirit of the holiday season, I'm going to share 4 suggestions of things to listen to and watch if you want to learn about tech and also be entertained and relax, because that's what I want for you. I want this to be a restful season for you. And also with these suggestions, you can get your family and your friends involved too, because these suggestions are not serious classes. My first pick is a podcast series that I was really quite obsessed with. It's called Bad Blood, and it tells the story of how Elizabeth Holmes and her partner Sunny Balwani managed to get a $10 billion valuation for Theranos. There's also a book of the same name if you prefer that medium, but a podcast series is obviously free, so you can just get it on Spotify or on Apple. As a reminder, Theranos was a blood testing company which promised to be able to tell you basically almost all of your ailments from a tiny drop of blood. And this turned out to be total rubbish. Their device did not work at all, and Ms. Holmes is currently in jail for defrauding investors. So firstly, this is just a good story, even if you have nothing to do with tech, biotech, or venture capital. It's just a thriller. Elizabeth Holmes managed to get investment from Henry Kissinger, from Rupert Murdoch, and from the Walton family of Walmart. I mean, how the hell did she do that? She was lauded internationally as a genius, and she was on the cover of Forbes. And all of this was based on a lie. Their product literally had no chance of working. Don't you want to know how she did it? And also, here is my controversial take on why you should listen to the Bad Blood podcast. While I certainly do not recommend that you defraud anybody, the Elizabeth Holmes case is a masterclass in managing perception and creating need and fundraising. In order for us to have any modicum of professional success in whatever you do, you will have to convince people to do things. And this is especially true for the entrepreneurs listening to the show and for the people who have C-suite ambitions. So learning from somebody who influenced very experienced and frankly, pretty scary people so masterfully, it's useful. As long as obviously you use your powers for good. My second pick for you today is a movie called The Social Network. It is an oldie but a goodie. It tells the story of the founding of Facebook and the subsequent lawsuit between the founding team, so Mark Zuckerberg, and the Winklevoss twins. Today, the Winklevoss twins are the founders of a company called Gemini. It is one of the world's largest crypto exchanges, and they are billionaires several times over. And so they are still huge influences on the tech world. So this movie is kind of two for the price of one. You'll get their origin story as well as Mark Zuckerberg's. I like the Social Network movie because you can watch this literally with anybody. Your friends and your family, they all know what Facebook is. And again, the creation of it and the founder spat, it makes for an interesting story. Facebook, now Meta, obviously, has literally changed the world. And this movie gives you an insight into the early days of the company, although of course it is dramatized. The Social Network movie is also an exploration of human relationships and what happens to relationships when money's at stake. And in the case of Facebook, it was big money at stake, right? You can watch this movie with your family and then discuss who got a bad deal at the end of it and, maybe have disagreements about it. And you know what? You can also watch this with your fiance because this could lead to a prenup conversation, which, maybe you're trying to line up and you don't know how to. So this could help. Okay, my third pick for you today is also on the topic of Facebook, but it is a documentary called The Social Dilemma. It's on Netflix and it talks about how social media products are built. So not just Facebook, not just Instagram, but also Pinterest, Twitter, and so on. And also it talks about the effect that these products have on our brains and on our society, and the people interviewed are actually the product makers who have been working at these companies. So on this podcast, on the Tech for Non-Techies podcast, I have previously taught lessons on how to make habit-forming product. In other words, I've taught you how to make addictive apps. And this is what social media companies are really expert at. But I just want you to see that turning something into a habit can be a very good thing, or it can be a very bad thing. So for example, I use the Headspace app, and Headspace, the company, the product managers there, the UX designers there, they have made meditation a habit for me. And I'm really happy with this habit. I think it gives me a better life. However, I am less happy with the amount of time I'm spending on TikTok, and I would like to reduce that habit in 2024. The point is, understanding how something is built is useful, especially if that thing is very successful, because you can use lessons from that success for your own endeavors, which is why I recommend the Social Dilemma documentary. And also, the more we understand how technology and social media in particular have changed the world around us, basically the better decisions we can make about it. And my fourth pick for you today is a movie. It's a really beautifully shot movie, so it's just very nice to look at, and it is called Ex Machina. Again, this is something you can watch with your friends and your family, and it literally will not feel like you're getting a tech lesson. Although Ex Machina came out in 2014, It is absolutely perfect to watch this year because this is the year that ChatGPT came out and everybody is talking about how AI is changing the world. And Ex Machina is basically Pygmalion, but in the age of AI. In this movie, a guy makes a female robot, she develops consciousness, and then, well, I'm not going to tell you, you will have to watch the movie. And honestly, it's a good one. I really liked it and I think you will too. So to sum up, here are my relaxation season picks for you. Number 1, Bad Blood, the podcast series. It is absolutely gripping. Number 2, The Social Network. It's a movie about the founding of Facebook and what happens between founding teams when big money is at stake. Spoiler alert, nothing good. The Social Dilemma. A Netflix documentary about how social media products are made and the effect they have on the world. And Ex Machina, a visually stimulating movie about what happens when a beautiful robot develops consciousness. And my dear smart listener, this is your final reminder about early bird pricing for the Design for Growth program. Early bird rates end on the 31st of December this year. So give yourself the gift of knowledge and professional success. And be smart about it. Get the early bird rate before prices go up. The link to sign up is in the show notes or go to techfornontechies.co/events. And after you've signed up, go and enjoy Ex Machina or Bad Blood and get some rest. And I'll speak to you in 2024. Isn't that exciting? 2024. Happy New Year to you, my dear smart listener. I am so glad and so flattered that you are on this journey with me. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. See you next year, my dear smart person. Ciao.